Welcome back, everybody. I'm Neil Cavuto, and there's probably some rumors going around that there's going to be a caucus in Nevada tomorrow. There's going to be a primary in South Carolina, and apparently the candidates are reaching out to voters. But what's interesting is how they're really going after young voters. Hillary Clinton going after the millennial vote, posing in Las Vegas with Britney Spears. We've seen other candidates doing similar things. Richard Dreyfuss, of course, has across-the-board appeal with all age groups. As you know, he's a raging conservative now. Ever since playing Bernie Madoff, he kind of felt for the guy. Good to see you. How are you? Thanks for coming. So how do you think this whole process is sorting out?
I have a message to you from Frank Luntz.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
And Frank said to tell you to speak clearly, for me, to speak clearly to you and in the clear, to say that the DreyfussInitiative.org is nonpartisan, absolutely necessary in an urgent way, and everyone should look at that site. The DreyfussInitiative.org is meant to bring civics back to the grades below high school graduation.
Gotcha. All right. Well, that's great.
Bingo.
Terrific. All right. Really? We had to start with that? A missive from Frank Luntz?
Because I want...
I mean, but you're Richard Dreyfuss, and you kick things off with your Frank Luntz thought. Why don't you just say it?
It's because in some circles, there are people who actually think that Frank Luntz is really respectable.
He is,
but
I think you're an international iconic figure.
I agree.
Okay,
I
so
totally
just say,
agree.
hey, this is me, this is what I'm doing.
And when you read the comments, though, it's really gets a little ugly real fast.
All right, well, I want to get the state of this campaign. Every time you and I've chatted about it, you're concerned about the whole tone of it, on the left and the right, but you had great fodder talking about what's going on the right, which leads me to believe you hate everyone on the right.
I don't hate.
Yes, you do.
Everyone on no, I don't. But I find it fascinating that a centrist party has chosen to go to support its most extremist side.
Oh, I see. So both sides, on the left with Bernie Sanders and on the right with Ted Cruz or Donald Trump?
With Bernie Sanders, it's not that the party has already committed to that.
Right.
That's up in the air. But in the Republican side, I've asked the Tea Party in the clear, would you let someone be called a moderate in your party? And they said no.
Whoa, wait a minute. What you just said about Bernie Sanders, he certainly has driven the agenda and the sentiment in the party. Yeah. Much harder left.
But he doesn't yet have the endorsement of the party. And on the Republican side, there has been an endorsement of the most...
Of who?
Of all the Tea Party
constituencies. See, now you're just showing your bias.
Really?
You don't like these Republicans, right?
No, I'm waiting to see. The reason I went to Iowa was to see in person if I could find someone I could talk to and be talked back with.
So wait. When you went to Iowa, and we were so glad to have you on, I thought you came to see me.
Well, no. Neil, I wasn't going to say that out loud.
Oh, okay. Understood.
On the show. Wow.
You know, I got a lot of email that I've had you on. People said, what did Dreyfuss say about the Bernie Sanders taxing the rich stuff? They all seem to think, and maybe you can clarify this once in a while, that you happily support much higher taxes on the rich. Could you answer a yes or no?
Yes, if it's a certain time limit. No, if it's not permanent.
Oh, okay.
No, if it is permanent.
Okay, so if we were to get back, now Bernie Sanders, as you and I have chatted, have talked back that it's not going to be 90%, but that it should be a lot higher. You would argue for a limited time you do that.
Yeah, depending upon the need.
Okay.
What's the need? When it was 90, it was because we were paying for World War II. Now we have to say, what's the need? Why are we doing this, and for how long? And there's nothing wrong with that.
Do you worry, though, that government screws things up?
Yes, I do.
So do you worry that giving government more money would risk screwing things up more?
I think that if you created a piece of legislation, let's say, that had a sunset clause, so that required that thing be scrutinized by another generation of politicians who have no skin in the game, that's what's lacking. It's ours.
So there's a shelf life for everything.
For everything.
Wow. You know, that's what Ted Cruz says about rules and regulations. Give them a shelf life, a limited time.
That's what Henry Paulson says. Henry Paulson says, I'm against regulations completely, but until the industry comes up with their own reward and punishment.
You're talking about the former Treasury Secretary?
Yeah.
Okay.
He says, until they do that, then I'm for regulation, because you have to.
You want to move things forward. And people may not agree with the politics of that, but move things forward. You talk about this venom on both sides. There's much more interest in just appeasing your base and not getting anything done. And part of the appeal, I know we chat about with Donald Trump, is people think he'll get stuff done. What do you think?
Well, it's not that he'll just get things done. It's what are his talents and what is he good for? For instance,
he's a businessman.
We all respect him and admire him because of his ability to counterpunch. Someone comes at him, he's going to come back. But he doesn't make the distinction between a friend and an enemy. And when the Pope critiques Donald Trump, the tone of his reply, the tone of Donald Trump's reply, is the same tone as if the Pope was his enemy.
A lot of people said, Richard, the Pope overdid it, overstepped his bounds there. Because he didn't say the same thing about European leaders and their views on building walls and keeping out refugees.
Criticized everyone.
Well, he hasn't called them less Christian.
But we don't know. You know, that was a specific moment and a specific question.
Right.
But I'm saying, is the response...
So you favor the Pope over Donald Trump?
No, I'm saying that that Donald Trump should be able to nuance his response to the Pope.
Maybe we're tired of nuance. You don't nuance things.
I am the king of nuance.
No, you're not, and that makes you a very appealing figure. And by the way, great job playing Bernie Madoff.
One of the great
Madoff family, by the way, loves this show. So I heard
your show.
I have no idea, but you did a great job. If you don't just clean up at the awards, I don't know. But how did you study for that role?
I didn't.
Really?
I grew up in that role.
You got his walk down, his cadence. I mean, it was scary.
First of all, I'm from Queens. I lived 10 blocks away from where he lived. Okay? Wow. And that informed my whole performance. And so did the play All My Sons.
Well, if you don't win every award for that, even people who hate you have to admit you were outstanding in that role. But Madoff has said, as you know, that he wasn't that bad. He said he wasn't as nasty as you portrayed him.
Who said that?
Bernie.
Oh, well, I should change my performance then.
All right. Someone's blocking here. Yeah. It is so good seeing you again,
now,
Richard.
Wait.
No,
nuance?
No.
Nuance is the absolute requirement in a president of the United States.
No, it isn't. Be blunt. Tell them how you feel. Don't be also.
But they're not all the same enemy.
Okay.
They're all different. You treat everyone the same.
But you're in the hip pocket of the Pope. We just learned that.
I'm in the hip pocket of the Pope.
We'll have more after this. See, I have the benefit of time. Great job.